Welcome back to the Line and the Liverpool podcast, season three, I think, because the new Premier League season is upon us. There's so much excitement. Liverpool are defending champions. They'll be looking to keep hold of the title, and they've made quite a few big moves in the summer, and there could be some more big moves coming. So we know we've got people like Florian Wirtz and Frimpong and Kerkez, and maybe the chance of getting Isak. But there still seem to be some problems with the squad, and Rohit and I, we're going to put our managerial hats on our heads and do a little bit of SWOT analysis. The bane of all management students, or at least I think the first thing that you taught in management school, right, is SWOT analysis. Everything SWOT analysis. Let's do a SWOT analysis. So this time we decided to do something for Liverpool. So without further ado, the Liverpool 2025-26 SWOT analysis. And I would say this is actually the first proper season where Arne Slot might be under some pressure because last season he had no players of his own apart from Federico Chiesa, but he won the Premier League at a canter. This time he's got signings, big names, big money spent. And let's first talk about the strengths. So obviously we have to look at the attacking depth or the attacking options that Liverpool have. Sure, we've lost a few players, but you look at the names that we have, right? You've got Mohamed Salah, you've got Ekitike, you've got Gakpo, you've got this new kid, Rio and Gumoha, which obviously you know a lot about, Rohit. And then we still have Federico Chiesa, and there's the possibility we still get one more player in, that's Alexander Isak. Then we have Frimpong, who can actually play as a right wing, and he scored that goal in the Community Shield that we lost on penalties. So that's obviously one of the big strengths that Liverpool have. And we saw that in the first game also, how Ekitike was already linking with Wirtz, although they've not played together, which was quite incredible to see. The other strength we'll talk about is obviously Slot's tactical flexibility and his high pressing style. He's changed things this time around. We saw that in the Community Shield. It didn't work out quite as well. But we've seen that last season, whenever things or the chips were down, Arne Slot was able to pull a rapid out of the hat, change things in the team, make a few substitutions, and we'd end up winning the game, or at least ensuring that we don't lose the game. And then obviously we also need to talk about the young talents in this Liverpool side. Rio, obviously, we've spoken about. We signed this guy from Salford, Will Wright, who seems to be the next big striker. We've got, as you said, this Italian wonder kid centre back coming in, Giovanni Leone. He's only 18 years old. And we've got Trey Nyoe, who's just 18 as well, who can be a midfield stalwart. He's been actually promoted into the first team because he's done so well. And the last trend that I see is that, it's a good experience of youth as well as experienced heads in this team. So you've spoken about the youth, but you've got also people like Salah, you've got Van Dijk. We've kept Andy Robertson in, so it's a very balanced side when it comes to experience and youth. What do you think about the strengths?
Yeah, I think the most exciting strength for me are your electric new signings, right? Ekitike scored a beautiful goal. I kept telling you that he's a top player, right? And of course, Wirtz. So I'm super excited to see how those two specifically play, right? And I think the Premier League will be better as, a neutral observer for these kind of players. So that's the most exciting strength for Liverpool for me.
Yeah. So now we got to quickly move on to the weaknesses. I think one of the biggest weaknesses could be our defense this season, and we saw it in the Community Shield where we're so reliant on Virgil van Dijk. He has to be fit, he has to be there. And then the other issues, obviously, Konate and his injury issues. Plus, there is also this talk of Real Madrid wanting to sign him on the last day of the window or something like that. So that's always going to be a this thing. And, Virgil van Dijk isn't getting any younger. So obviously, there will be a few more mistakes coming. Then he has to be at his best all the times. The second thing is obviously what we saw again in the Community Shield is the lack of a proper defensive midfielder. We don't have a Fabinho kind of player anymore. Sure, we saw Ryan Gravenberch and Alexis McAllister do really well last season, but even they aren't defensive midfielders per se. Obviously, we didn't have either of them starting the game against Palace. Gravenberch was missing because I think his partner was expecting a child or something, and McAllister was a little injured. So that's my other major concern. And then this is a bit of a catch-22 situation. We've brought so many new players in, and we've let so many old players go. Maybe that takes time. The players adjusting to the team. Milos Kerkez, we saw he was a little on and off. Frimpong was a little on and off. We've seen Wirtz was brilliant. I mean, but too many new faces in this team. What do you think, Rohit?
So, Deep, I'm going to point something out that's going to press some of your buttons. I think one of the major weaknesses for you guys is losing Trent Alexander-Arnold,
Oh,
right? Because he was one of the most creative and uniquely creative players that you guys had, right? His range of passing from anywhere on the pitch, I think that's going to be difficult to replicate because you have Frimpong. Of course, he's a good player, but he does not have that passing range, right? He's more of like an out and out, like attacking kind of wing back kind of winger. So what I'm interested in seeing is how does Slot basically compensate for that lack of passing creativity? And then you of course need that passing ability basically because a lot of the teams are going to sit back and you have a lot of good runners. Salah always needs like a good through ball put through towards him. So let's see. I think it kind of ties into your too many fresh faces, but fresh faces who are not like for like replacements as well, right? So Frimpong is like markedly different from Trent Alexander-Arnold.
I think that's a very fair point where, Trent's passing range was, I think, unheralded. I don't think anybody in the Premier League had that, maybe apart from Kevin De Bruyne. But this actually segues quite well into the opportunities because this would be an opportunity for the other players to step up, and then obviously Arne Slot to come up with a new tactic. Because we saw one thing which is very stark in the first or the preseason Community Shield is that Jeremy Frimpong was overlapping Mohamed Salah quite often. And it's crazy because Trent never did that. Trent would, stay back, he would move into the inverted midfielder or the inverted fullback position. So that's something. The other obviously opportunity for us is that we have that marquee signing still hovering above our heads, Alexander Isak. He comes in and it's a game changer, honestly, because I think he could be, I think, the second best striker in the Premier League after Erling Haaland. And he's lethal. He's great in the box, outside it. He's great at dribbling. So a front three of Ekitike, Salah, and Isak, and behind them is Florian Wirtz. I mean, that's quite something. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you guys are definitely getting Isak, right? The way things are panning out, you guys are getting him, and I think that's definitely a great opportunity. But the fact that you might also go for like Barcola or Rodrigo, I think that is also pretty crazy out there. I don't know whether you guys will, but that would just take things to a different level. And I think you have the money. Sold Diaz for a ton of money to Bayern Munich, and I think you got a good amount of money for Nunes as well from the Saudis. So I think money is not an issue for you guys.
Yeah, so I don't think we'll get Barcola or Rodrigo. I think all our chips are on Isak. But it's interesting you say that because Rodrigo has now been linked to a move to Manchester City, and it's the perfect way to talk about the threats. So obviously Manchester City will be a threat despite them having a poor season last time, and Rodri's injury and all that. They got some decent players in the January transfer window. They're making some moves. Rodri's coming back, although I think he had a bit of an injury recently also. And then obviously we have to talk about clubs like Arsenal and even Chelsea to an extent. Arsenal obviously are the perennial runners-up, and they finally got a striker. Wow, they're going to score 100 goals or something. Gyökeres is here and Bain and all that stuff. So Arsenal's there, and we can't rule out Chelsea, right? I mean, I'm not saying that they're going to win the Premier League and it's going to be a canter for them, but they do have a pretty good side now, and we've seen Enzo Maresca do a number on PSG, something that Tottenham were not able to, just complete the job in the Super Cup. The other major threat that I see is the injury concern. So one injury to Salah, one injury to Van Dijk, or even Allison, a long-term injury to Allison, though we have Mamadashvili. I really fear for that. And obviously, we've seen players like Joe Gomez already being injured. Connor Bradley has been injured. Konate is prone to injuries. McAllister is coming off an injury. So injuries, I think, could be a major, major issue for us. And then the final thing again is a little, I don't know, it's a little weird to bring up, but this entire Isak saga, right? I mean, it's playing out for a little too long. I mean, it's not the kind of deals that Liverpool have done. It's always like David
Mm.
Ornstein posts a message, it's done, it's done, it's done. Even the Moises Caicedo one, we agreed terms and then he decided to go to Chelsea. It wasn't a long drawn issue and Caicedo was playing coy. Even Romeo Lavia, he rejected us and we moved on. This Isak thing is the one that, could derail the entire team. Uh, I don't know, not momentum, but, the thought process and how it's all going to work. I suppose Isak does move to us on the last day of the window and he's thrown his toys out of the pram and he's not trained with Newcastle. and then he comes and joins us. How much pressure will there be on Isak, on the team, and also? I think those are the three major threats that I see.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point you bring up, Adim, because this transfer window has been so different from a usual Liverpool transfer window. And what comes with that, obviously, is added pressure for the coach and for all the players. So that's definitely a threat.
Yeah. So that's our SWOT analysis for Liverpool. I'll just put my prediction in before we end the show is that I expect Liverpool to win the title. Uh, you let us know what you think. Rohit, what do you think?
I think no matter how much we make fun of Arsenal, they are looking really good this season. We'll
Wow.
talk about it maybe a little later, but I think, yeah, 1-2 Liverpool, Arsenal, I think, it's basically a coin toss.
Interesting. So, guys, let me know what you think about the SWOT analysis. Do you think we missed out on something? Do you think Liverpool have too many strengths and not enough weaknesses? And what do you think the position will be come the end of the season? Drop a mention or your thoughts in the comments. Do like, share, and subscribe to our content. And we'll see you next week when the Premier League season starts. We'll have a lot of discussion after that. Bye bye.
Bye bye.